What would you do if your own sister, someone you trusted your whole life, betrayed you in the worst way possible? If she had an affair with your fiancé, destroyed your engagement, and then married him herself, would you forgive, cut them off, or would you wait for karma to catch up to them? Today's story is about a woman named Emily who chose the third option. Her younger sister Rebecca had an affair with Emily's fiancé just months before their wedding. The betrayal destroyed Emily's life and her family. But 10 years later, at a family reunion, karma arrived, and it destroyed both Rebecca and her husband in the most spectacular way. This is a story about family betrayal, long-term consequences, and karma that waited a decade to strike perfectly. Let's dive in. Meet Emily and Rebecca Harrison back in 2013. They were the picture-perfect sisters from Burlington, Ontario. Emily was the older sister, 28 years old, working as a high school English teacher. She was responsible, organized, the one who always followed the rules. She'd been with her fiancé Marcus for 5 years. They'd met in university, dated through grad school, and got engaged on Christmas Eve 2012. Rebecca was the younger sister, 24 years old, working in retail management. She was the fun one, spontaneous, always the life of the party. Emily and Rebecca had always been close growing up, shared clothes, shared secrets, shared everything. They were each other's best friends. Their parents, David and Linda, were so proud of their girls. "My daughters are best friends," Linda would brag to anyone who'd listen. "They're going to raise their kids together someday." When Emily got engaged, Rebecca was the first person she told. Rebecca screamed with excitement. She cried happy tears. She immediately started planning the bachelorette party. "I can't wait to help you plan everything," Rebecca gushed. "This is going to be the best wedding ever." Emily asked Rebecca to be her maid of honor. Of course she did. Who else would it be? The wedding was set for October 12, 2013. Emily had been planning for months. Dress picked out, venue booked, invitation designed. It was going to be a fall wedding at a vineyard, 120 guests, everything Emily had dreamed of since she was a little girl. Marcus was a software developer, quiet but sweet, reliable. He wasn't the most exciting guy, but he was stable, kind, and completely devoted to Emily, or so she thought. Rebecca and Marcus had always gotten along well. They'd hang out when Marcus came to family dinners. They'd chat at holiday gatherings. Emily thought it was great that her fiancé and her sister were friends. She had no idea what was really happening. June 2013, 4 months before the wedding, Emily was deep in wedding planning mode, finalizing the menu, confirming RSVPs, addressing invitations. She was exhausted but excited. One Saturday afternoon, Emily went to Rebecca's apartment to show her the final bridesmaid dress options. Rebecca had said she'd be home all day. Emily had a key to Rebecca's place. They were that close, always in and out of each other's homes. Emily let herself in, calling out, "Becca, I'm here. I brought the dress samples." No response. Emily walked further into the apartment. Maybe Rebecca was in the shower. But then she heard sounds coming from Rebecca's bedroom. Voices. A man's voice. Becca must have a guy over, Emily thought. She smiled. Rebecca had been single for a while. Maybe she'd finally met someone. Emily was about to leave and text Rebecca to call her later, but then she heard the man's voice more clearly. It sounded like, no, it couldn't be. Emily's heart started racing. She walked closer to Rebecca's bedroom door. It was slightly open. Through the crack, she saw them, Rebecca and Marcus, in bed together. Emily's mind couldn't process what she was seeing. This had to be a mistake. This had to be some kind of nightmare she'd wake up from. She pushed the door open fully. What the hell is going on? Rebecca and Marcus jumped apart. Rebecca grabbed the sheet. Marcus turned completely white. Emily, Rebecca gasped. I can't explain. Explain? Emily's voice was shaking. Explain why you're in bed with my fiancé? Marcus scrambled to grab his clothes. Emily, we didn't, don't you dare lie to me. Emily screamed, I saw you, I saw everything. Rebecca started crying. Emily, please, I'm so sorry, it just happened, we didn't mean, it just happened? Emily felt like she might throw up. How long has this been going on? Silence. Neither of them would look at her. How long? Emily screamed again. 3 months, Marcus finally whispered. 3 months, while Emily was planning their wedding, while Emily was shopping for a wedding dress with Rebecca by her side, while Emily was addressing invitations with Marcus's name right next to hers. I'm done, Emily said, her voice suddenly ice cold. Both of you, you're dead to me. She pulled off her engagement ring and threw it at Marcus. It hit him in the chest and fell to the floor. Then she turned and walked out. She could hear Rebecca calling after her. Emily, please, let's talk about this. But Emily kept walking. She got in her car, drove 2 blocks, and then had to pull over because she was crying so hard she couldn't see the road. The next 48 hours were absolute hell for Emily. She had to tell her parents that conversation was one of the worst of her life. Mom, Dad, the wedding is off. Marcus and Rebecca have been having an affair. Her mother literally dropped the coffee mug she was holding. It shattered on the kitchen floor. Her father went silent for a full minute before saying, Rebecca, your sister, Rebecca? Linda immediately called Rebecca, screaming at her, How could you do this to your sister, to our family? What is wrong with you? Rebecca cried and apologized, but also tried to defend herself. You don't understand, Marcus and I fell in love. We didn't mean for it to happen. It's real, Mom. What we have is real. He was engaged to your sister, David yelled in the background. But here's where it got even worse. Over the next week, Rebecca and Marcus doubled down. They didn't just apologize and end their affair. They decided to be together publicly. Rebecca called Emily. I know you hate me right now, but I need you to know. Marcus and I are in love. We're going to be together. I never meant to hurt you, but I can't deny my feelings. Emily couldn't believe what she was hearing. You want my blessing? Are you insane? I want you to understand that this wasn't some casual fling. We love each other. We want to make this work. You can have him, Emily said coldly. You deserve each other. The family was torn apart. Emily's parents sided with Emily completely. They told Rebecca she was no longer welcome in their home. Rebecca and Marcus moved in together immediately, doubling down on their relationship as if that would somehow justify what they'd done. Emily had to cancel the wedding. That meant calling 120 guests to tell them the wedding was off. She didn't give details to most people, just said personal reasons, but of course, word got out. Everyone knew. The humiliation was crushing. Emily had already put down $15,000 in non-refundable deposits. Gone. The dress was bought. $3,000, non-returnable. The invitations were printed. The venue deposit was lost, but worse than the money was the emotional devastation. Emily fell into deep depression. She took a leave of absence from her teaching job. She moved back in with her parents because she couldn't afford her apartment alone. She and Marcus had been splitting rent. She stopped seeing friends, stopped going out. Some days she couldn't even get out of bed. Her parents tried to support her, but they were devastated too. Linda felt like she'd failed as a mother. How did I raise a daughter who would do this? She'd cry. The family stopped doing holidays together. No more Christmas dinners with both daughters. No more birthdays. The family unit was shattered. And Rebecca doubled down even harder. 6 months after the affair was exposed, 6 months after Emily's cancelled wedding, Rebecca and Marcus got engaged. The audacity was breathtaking. Rebecca didn't even tell the family directly. Emily's mom found out through Facebook when Rebecca posted her engagement photos with the caption, "Sometimes love happens when you least expect it." Emily saw the post. She stared at it for a long time. Rebecca was wearing a ring, smiling, happy, acting like she'd done nothing wrong. Emily unfriended her, blocked her on all platforms, and decided right then that she was done. Done trying to understand. Done waiting for an apology that would matter. Done with Rebecca entirely. "She's not my sister anymore," Emily told her parents. "I have no sister." That was 2014. Emily rebuilt her life slowly but surely. She went back to teaching. She went to therapy. She dated casually but wasn't ready for anything serious yet. Meanwhile, Rebecca and Marcus got married in 2015, a small ceremony, since half the family refused to attend. They had a daughter in 2016. They bought a house in Oakville. From the outside, they looked happy. Emily tried not to think about them, tried not to care, but karma was taking its time. And when it finally arrived 10 years later, it would be absolutely devastating. Let's fast forward through Emily's decade because it's important to understand where she ended up. 2014-2016, Emily focused entirely on healing. Therapy twice a week. She read books about betrayal and forgiveness. Not forgiving Rebecca, but forgiving herself for not seeing the signs. 2017, Emily met someone new. His name was David, not to be confused with her father. He was a divorced father of one, worked as an engineer, and was kind, patient, and honest. They took things very slowly. 2018, Emily and David got engaged. This time there was no big, elaborate wedding planning. They had a small ceremony with 30 people, close friends, and Emily's parents. It was perfect, simple, genuine. 2019, Emily and David bought a house in Hamilton. Emily got promoted to department head at her school. Life was good, really good, better than it had been before Rebecca's betrayal, if Emily was honest. 2020-2022, Emily and David weathered COVID together. They adopted 2 dogs. Emily started a side business doing freelance editing. David's business took up. They were financially secure and deeply happy. By 2023, Emily's life was completely rebuilt. She'd done the work. She'd healed. She'd created a life that didn't revolve around bitterness or revenge. She rarely thought about Rebecca anymore. Her parents would occasionally mention that Rebecca had 2 kids now, that Marcus had changed jobs, but Emily didn't ask for details. That part of her life was closed. As for her relationship with her parents, they'd reconciled with Rebecca around 2018. Not fully, not the way it had been, but Linda wanted to know her grandchildren. David wanted to have some relationship with his younger daughter. Emily understood, even if it hurt. "I'm not asking you to forgive her," Linda would say, "but we can't cut her off forever. She's our daughter too." Emily got it. She did. But she made it clear. "I will never have a relationship with Rebecca again, ever. So, any family events where she's invited, I won't be there. I need you to accept that." Her parents did. For 8 years, they had separate holiday celebrations, separate birthdays. It was awkward and sad, but it was the only way. Until August 2023, when everything changed. In August 2023, Emily's father David turned 70. Her mother Linda wanted to throw him a big birthday party, a family reunion of sorts. Extended family, cousins Emily hadn't seen in years, everyone together. Linda called Emily. "Sweetheart, I know this is complicated, but it's been 10 years. Your father is turning 70. I want both my daughters there. Is there any way you'd consider coming?" Emily's immediate reaction was no, absolutely not. She hadn't seen Rebecca in a decade and had zero interest in changing that. But her mother kept talking. "I understand if you can't, but your father, he's not getting younger, Em. And he wants his family together, even if just for one day you and Rebecca don't have to interact. The party will be big enough that you can avoid each other." Emily talked it over with David, her husband. "What do you think?" "I think it's been 10 years, David said thoughtfully. "And from what you've told me, you've healed. You've moved on. Maybe seeing her won't hurt the way you think it will. and you'd be doing it for your dad, not for her. Emily thought about it for a week before calling her mother back. Fine, I'll come, but I'm not making small talk with Rebecca. I'm not pretending we're okay. I'll be polite for Dad's sake, but that's it. That's all I'm asking, Linda said, relief clear in her voice. The party was scheduled for September the 16th, 2023, a Saturday afternoon BBQ at Emily's parents' house in Burlington. About 60 people invited, family members from both sides, old family friends, a real reunion. Emily was nervous as the date approached. She hadn't seen Rebecca's face in person in 10 years. She'd successfully avoided her at the few family events where they'd both been invited by simply not going. What if seeing her brings everything back? Emily worried to her husband. Then we leave, David said simply. We stay for an hour, wish your dad happy birthday and go. You're in control? The day of the party arrived. Emily dressed carefully, nice but casual, sundress and sandals. She wanted to look good, but not like she was trying too hard. They arrived at 2 p.m. The backyard was packed with family. Emily immediately spotted her father and went to hug him. Happy birthday, Dad! Emily, you made it! He hugged her tight. Thank you for coming. I know it wasn't easy. Emily scanned the crowd. She didn't see Rebecca yet. Maybe she wasn't there? Maybe she changed her mind, but then Emily saw her, and what she saw made her stop in her tracks. Rebecca looked rough, really rough. Emily hadn't seen photos of Rebecca in years. They had no mutual social media connections, and Emily's parents knew better than to show her pictures. So Emily was genuinely shocked at the person she saw. Rebecca was 34 now, but she looked 45. She'd gained significant weight. Not that that mattered on its own, but she looked unhealthy. Her skin was bad, her hair was greasy and poorly styled. She was wearing sweatpants and an old t-shirt to what was supposed to be a nice family party. But it was her face that struck Emily the most. Rebecca looked exhausted, defeated. There was no light in her eyes, and next to her was Marcus. He'd also aged badly. He'd lost most of his hair and gained a significant beer belly. But more than that, he looked miserable. He and Rebecca stood together but weren't interacting, just standing near each other, not speaking. Rebecca had 2 kids with her, a daughter about 7 and a son about 5. The kids looked unkempt. The daughter's hair hadn't been brushed properly. The son's shirt was stained. Emily felt an unexpected wave of sadness. Not pity exactly, but sadness. This wasn't what she'd expected to see. She made her way over to her mother. Mom, is Rebecca okay? She looks... Linda's face fell. Oh, Emily, it's been rough for them. I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want you to think I was trying to make you feel bad for her, but their marriage is falling apart. What happened? Linda pulled Emily aside, away from the crowd. Where do I even start? Marcos lost his job about 3 years ago. Some kind of issue with his work performance. He was always distracted, making mistakes. He's been doing contract work since then, but can't hold a steady position. Money has been really tight for them. Then Rebecca found out last year that Marcus has been having an affair with a woman he met online. Emily's eyes widened. He cheated on her. Multiple times, apparently. Rebecca found messages going back at least 2 years. She confronted him. He promised to stop, but didn't. 6 months ago, Rebecca found out he'd been meeting up with one of these women regularly. She kicked him out for a while. But then he came back because neither of them can afford to live separately. Emily didn't know what to say. The irony was almost painful. Linda continued, Rebecca is severely depressed. She's on medication. She's seeing a therapist, but it's not helping much. The kids are struggling too. Behavioral issues at school, clearly affected by the tension at home. Marcus refuses to go to couples therapy. He's basically checked out of the marriage, but won't leave because of the kids and the financial situation. And they came to this party together? I asked them to come for your father's sake. Rebecca didn't want to. said she didn't feel up to it, but I convinced her. I think she's ashamed of how things turned out. As Emily stood there processing this information, she watched Rebecca across the yard. Rebecca was trying to corral her kids, who were running around wildly. Marcus was on his phone, ignoring everyone. An uncle approached Rebecca and said something. Rebecca forced a smile and responded, but Emily could see the pain in her sister's eyes even from a distance. This was karma, Emily realized. Not karma that she'd wished for or wanted, not karma that felt satisfying or joyful, just natural consequences. Rebecca had destroyed Emily's engagement to be with Marcus, and Marcus had turned out to be exactly who he'd shown himself to be, a cheater, someone willing to betray the person who loved him, someone who, when things got hard, would look elsewhere. Rebecca had won him, and the prize was this: a failing marriage, financial struggles, depression, and a partner who didn't respect her. She traded a sisterhood for a man who would betray her exactly the way he'd betrayed Emily. Emily tried to avoid Rebecca for the first hour of the party. It wasn't hard. They were both actively steering clear of each other. But around 3:30 p.m., Emily went into the house to use the bathroom. When she came out, Rebecca was in the kitchen, alone. They locked eyes. For a moment, neither said anything. 10 years of silence hung between them. "Hi, Emily," Rebecca finally said quietly. "Rebecca," Emily acknowledged with a nod. Emily started to walk past her, back outside. But then Rebecca spoke again. "You look good, really good, happy." Emily stopped, turned back. "Thanks. Mom told me you got married and you got promoted at work. I'm glad things worked out for you." "Thanks," Emily said again, keeping her voice neutral. Rebecca's eyes filled with tears. "I owe you an apology. I know I said it back then, but I don't think I ever really understood what I did, what I took from you. I was so caught up in the romance of it all, the excitement of the affair, that I didn't see who Marcus really was." Emily said nothing, just waited. "He cheated on me," Rebecca continued, her voice breaking, "multiple times, and I know what you're thinking, that I deserved it. And maybe I did, but it still destroyed me. To realize that the man I betrayed my sister for, the man I chose over my family, isn't who I thought he was." "He showed you who he was from the beginning," Emily said, her voice harder than she intended. "He was willing to cheat on me with you. Why wouldn't he cheat on you with someone else?" Rebecca flinched but nodded. "You're right. I thought I was different, special. I thought what we had was real." "It was real," Emily said. "A real affair, a real betrayal, built on real lies." Rebecca was crying openly now. "I'm so sorry, Emily. I know sorry doesn't fix anything. I know it doesn't undo the pain I caused you. But I need you to know I've regretted it every single day for 10 years. I destroyed our sisterhood. I destroyed our family. And for what? A marriage that's falling apart? A life where one miserable and trapped?" Emily felt a strange mix of emotion. Part of her felt vindicated. "See, this is what you get." Part of her felt sad. "This is still my sister and she's suffering." Part of her felt nothing, like she was looking at a stranger. "I appreciate the apology," Emily finally said, "but it doesn't change anything. What you did, it wasn't just stealing my fiancé. It was the ultimate betrayal of trust. You were my sister, my best friend. I would have done anything for you, and you destroyed that." "I know. And the worst part? You doubled down. You didn't just make a mistake in a moment of weakness. You chose him over and over. You got engaged, you got married, you had kids with him. You chose that life, knowing what it cost me." Rebecca was sobbing now. I know, I was stupid and selfish, and I have no excuse." Emily took a deep breath. "I spent 10 years healing from what you did. I've built a good life. I'm happy. And I did that without you. I don't need your apology to move on because I already have. Do you think, is there any chance we could ever Rebecca couldn't finish the sentence. Be sisters again? Emily finished for her. No, we can't. Too much was broken. I can't forgive you. Actually, I think I already have, because holding on to that anger was hurting me more than you. But forgiving doesn't mean reconciling. It doesn't mean going back to how things were. That Emily, who trusted you completely, she doesn't exist anymore. Rebecca nodded, tears streaming down her face. I understand. Emily softened slightly. For what is worse, I'm sorry your marriage is struggling. I'm sorry Marcus turned out to be who he always was. And I'm sorry your kids are caught in the middle of that. But that's not on me to fix. You made choices. These are the consequences. I know. I hope you figure things out. I really do. Not for your sake, but for your kids' sake. They deserve better than parents who are miserable together. Rebecca wiped her eyes. Thank you for coming today. I know it was hard. Dad really appreciates it. I did it for him, not for you. I know, but still, thank you. Emily nodded and walked back outside. Her husband found her immediately. You okay? Yeah, Emily said, and she realized she meant it. I am. I really am. She'd faced her worst nightmare, seeing her sister and the man who'd betrayed her. And it hadn't destroyed her. It hadn't even really hurt her, because she'd already done the work. She'd already healed. And seeing Rebecca's life fall apart wasn't satisfying, but it was closure. Evidence that the universe tends toward justice, even if it takes 10 years. Emily and her husband left the party around 5 p.m. She'd done what she came to do, celebrated her father's birthday, faced her past, and come out okay. But karma wasn't quite done yet. 3 months later, in December 2023, Emily's mother called her with news. Emily, I need to tell you something about Rebecca. Okay? She and Marcus are getting divorced. She finally filed the papers. Emily wasn't surprised. How's she handling it? Not well, but there's more. Marcus filed a countersuit for full custody of the kids. That made Emily sit up. Full custody? On what grounds? He's claiming Rebecca is an unfit mother because of her depression and medication. He's also claiming financial responsibility. Says she can't support the kids on her own. It's ugly, Emily. Really ugly. Rebecca is devastated. Emily felt a twist in her stomach. She might not have a relationship with Rebecca anymore, but the thought of those kids caught in a custody battle made her feel sick. And here's the worst part, Linda continued. Marcus's lawyer is bringing up the affair from 10 years ago. They're arguing that Rebecca's past behavior, having an affair, breaking up your engagement, shows a pattern of poor judgment and moral character. They are using it against her in the custody case. Wow, the affair that had started their relationship was now being used to destroy it. Mom, that's brutal. I know. Rebecca is falling apart. She might lose her kids because of this. And meanwhile, Marcus, who also had the affair, who cheated on her multiple times, is positioning himself as the stable parent. It's not fair. Emily didn't know what to say. Part of her thought, this is karma. This is what happens. But another part of her, the part that remembered the little sister who used to follow her around, who used to tell her everything, felt sad. What's going to happen? Emily asked. I don't know. Rebecca's lawyer says she has a good chance of getting shared custody at minimum, but it's going to be a fight. And it's expensive. Rebecca can't afford a good lawyer. Your father and I are helping financially, but it's draining our retirement savings. Emily didn't offer to help. She couldn't. The boundary was still there. But she did say, I hope it works out for the kids' sake. Me too. The divorce dragged on for 8 months. By August 2024, the settlement was finally reached. Rebecca and Marcus got joint custody. Week on, week off. The house had to be sold. Rebecca moved into a small apartment. Marcus moved in with his girlfriend. Yes, he already had someone new. Emily heard updates through her parents, but didn't ask for them. She was living her life. not keeping tabs on Rebecca's disasters. But she couldn't help noticing the poetic justice of it all. Rebecca had destroyed a family to be with Marcus. Now Marcus had destroyed their family to be with someone else. The cycle of betrayal had come full circle, and Rebecca was left alone in a small apartment with 50% custody of her kids, working a job she hated to make ends meet, and dealing with the reputation of being the woman who'd had an affair with her sister's fiancé, a reputation that now haunted her professionally and socially. That was karma, not lightning strike instant karma, not satisfying revenge that Emily had to orchestrate, just the natural consequences of choices playing out over a decade. So where are they now as of early 2025? Rebecca is 35, living alone in a 2-bedroom apartment in Oakville. She has her kid every other week. She's still working in retail management, making about $45,000 a year. She's in therapy, working through depression and the wreckage of her life choices. Her relationship with her parents is strained but existing. They see her regularly because of the grandchildren, but the closeness they used to have is gone. There's always an undercurrent of disappointment. Rebecca is single. She's tried dating, but it hasn't gone well. Turns out being known as the woman who stole her sister's fiancé isn't a great dating profile. And the few men who were interested quickly discovered she came with a lot of baggage. 2 kids, a bitter ex-husband, financial struggles, and unresolved trauma. As for Marcus, he's 38, engaged to his girlfriend, the one he cheated with, and pretending his past doesn't exist. He has the kids every other week and posts photos on social media trying to look like father of the year. But people who know him see through it. His career never recovered from the job loss in 2020. He's working contract positions, making less money than he did a decade ago. His current fiancée is already having doubts. She recently discovered Marcus has a pattern of cheating. And surprise, surprise, she's catching him texting other women. Karma isn't done with Marcus yet. But the real winner in this story, Emily. Emily is 38, happily married to David for 6 years now. They just bought their dream house in Dundas. Emily got promoted to vice principal at her school. Her freelance editing business is bringing in an extra $30,000 a year. She and David are financially secure, emotionally healthy, and genuinely happy. Emily and her parents have a great relationship. They do holidays together, go on family vacations without Rebecca, and talk multiple times a week. Linda still feels guilty about what happened, but Emily has made peace with it. Mom, you didn't make Rebecca do what she did, Emily told her last year, and you've been nothing but supportive of me. We're good. Emily doesn't think about Rebecca often anymore. When she does, it's not with anger or pain. It's more like thinking about an old acquaintance she used to know, someone whose life went a different direction. Emily did go to therapy to process whether she should feel guilty about not helping Rebecca during the custody battle. Her therapist was clear. You protecting your own peace is not the same as wishing harm on someone. Rebecca's consequences are her own. You didn't create them. That helped Emily let go of the last bit of guilt she was carrying. Last month, Emily and David announced they're adopting. They've been in the process for 2 years and finally got approved. They're expecting to bring home a child, a 4-year-old girl, by summer 2025. Emily's parents are thrilled. They'll have grandchildren through Emily's family now too. When Linda told Rebecca about the adoption, Rebecca apparently said, "Tell Emily congratulations from me. She's going to be an amazing mom." Emily appreciated the sentiment, even if she and Rebecca would never have a direct relationship again. As for whether Emily feels like karma served justice, she gave an interview to a blogger who writes about family drama. And this is what she said: "I don't take any joy in my sister's pain. But I also can't pretend I don't see the cosmic irony. She betrayed me to be with a man who turned out to be a serial cheater and a bad partner. The relationship that started in betrayal ended in betrayal. That's not karma being cruel. That's just a natural outcome of building a relationship on a foundation of lies. The best revenge I got wasn't seeing her suffer. It was building a life so good that her betrayal became irrelevant to my happiness. She can't hurt me anymore because I don't need her, don't think about her, and don't define my worth by what she did to me. That's real power. That's real peace. So what can we learn from Emily and Rebecca's story? First, betrayal built on lies will eventually collapse under its own weight. Rebecca and Marcus's relationship was founded on cheating and dishonesty. It's no surprise it fell apart the same way. Second, you can't outrun your character. Marcus showed who he was when he cheated on Emily. Rebecca should have known he'd do the same to her. People who are willing to betray their partners rarely change. Third, sometimes the best revenge is no revenge at all. Emily didn't have to do anything to Rebecca. She just had to build a good life and let natural consequences do the work. Fourth, karma isn't always instant, but it's usually inevitable. It took 10 years, but Rebecca faced the consequences of destroying her family for a man who wasn't worth it. And finally, healing means letting go, not for the other person's benefit, but for your own. Emily forgave Rebecca not because Rebecca deserved it, but because carrying that anger was holding Emily back. Family betrayal is one of the deepest cuts there is, but even that wound can heal if you give it time and do the work. What do you think? Should Emily have tried to reconcile with Rebecca for the sake of their parents, or was she right to maintain her boundary? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever been betrayed by family? How did you handle it? If this story resonated with you, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon. We post new karma and betrayal stories every Tuesday and Friday at 6 or 7 p.m. EST. And if you have your own family betrayal story, send it to us anonymously at the email in the description. Your story could help someone else going through something similar. Thanks for watching Karma Chronicles. Remember, sometimes the best revenge is living well, and sometimes karma handles the rest. I'll see you in the next one.